What was meant for kids but adult consumers hijacked it and ruined it. Childhood. Parents who film their kids' lives for likes and subs are shitty. We really ought to pass a law about monetization of childhood. It shouldn't be lucrative to milk your children's lives at their expense. YA books. I'm an adult that reads them. But the characters are teenagers. People get upset that teenagers act like teenagers, in books targeted at, you guessed it, teenagers. I'm always amused by Goodreads reviews on YA books where they're like, the characters were immature. Well yeah, no shit. They're like, 13. That's actually part of why I like YA. Characters make dumb decisions but it's part of their growth and they come out better for it. In adult books, when the characters do something stupid, I'm like, you're 40. Why are you acting like this? TBH, I blame the fact that authors saw the success of Hunger Games and decided YA is a trendy thing. Totally misunderstanding that it's an age demographic and not a genre. Pokemon cards. Scalpers were so down horrendous they were raiding McDonald's during the pandemic. Most hobbies get this treatment now. Losers wanting to play stock market and ruining games in the process. There was a post here recently about scalpers buying up fucking driving tests. It's gone beyond causal hobbies/recreational activities. People in the UK paying brokers £500 plus because they use bots to buy all the test slots when they release. Life is so strange at the minute. Everyone has a side hustle out to make money at other people's expense. Flipping houses, cars, trainers, Pokemon cards, concert tickets, driving tests, you name it. If you need it, be prepared to pay extra. Youth sports. When I was a kid 30 years ago, you'd have a practice or two a week plus a game on Saturday. Then if you loved sports, you'd get together with buddies in your ample free time and mess around playing super fun pickup games. Now, many kids are having full weekend tournaments like every weekend. And tons of practices. They rarely have the free time to just play with their friends for the fun of it. Sure, they are better athletes than we were, but are they better off? In my 37 years of baseball, I've played, umpired, coached, and been on the board of our local rec league. I can't tell you how many miserable kids I've seen because their parents push them to do what they don't want to do anymore. As a coach, I choose to make time at practices for fun games or let the players choose the activity. We have a coach that practices 4 days a week and 2 games. His players are not happy. I never want to be that kind of coach. I think the bigger issue is that the parents want their kid to make it or just stay busy. Look, Charlene, your kid is 7 years old, he has barely learned part of the game, he's not going to be a major leaguer anytime soon. Every card hobby. It's literally just about prices now. As a Yu-Gi-Oh enjoyer, I thoroughly agree, although it's always been about prices for the rare cards, but there are a lot more flippers than ever before. Minions. I remain baffled as to how and why Minions, of all things, became the thing of choice for unfunny boomer memes. I'm convinced it has something to do with the overalls. I think it's the crass/risque yet safe humor. Not only is it crass and risque while being safe, it's also a very old style of comedy. Almost vaudevillian. Beanie Baby collectors. Came to say this. I remember when it all got too crazy. I worked next door to a Hallmark store and there was a group of older ladies that waited at the door every release day. They were only allowed to buy 2 of each and they always knew the names of them. They'd often bring extra people if they wanted more than the limit. It was insanity. Those poor Hallmark employees couldn't unbox them fast enough. My Little Pony. I watched it with my sister growing up. At one point we watched a video of a Comic-Con or some such panel. A bunch of sweaty dudes were asking questions one after another. Then the sweetest little girl who was being encouraged by her dad stepped up to the microphone and very timidly, but bravely, asked about one of her favorite characters. The scoffing and jeers coming from the crowd for the little girl not already knowing some fandom trivia was fucking disgusting. Had I been the father that day, I would have taken the mic and given them an earful. After school hobbies. Around the age of 47, I decided to pick up guitar again. So I went to a local school and enrolled as an adult. I would see parents harassing their kids and berating them for not being better. I think the majority of them have lost the idea that extracurricular activities are to help your child out of their shell and also to have fun. Not to make them a professional of any sort or the best of the best of the best. Clowns. My daughter was able to enjoy them when she was little, but now they just make her think of killer clowns. I get that a lot of kids, and adults, were scared of them regardless, but these days scary clowns are almost the only kind I ever see, and I think that's kind of sad. Yeah, especially when there were news stories about people dressing up as killer clowns, and many YouTubers make videos featuring killer clowns at one point. That's exactly the kind of thing I was thinking about. People actually did that down the street from us last Halloween, skulking around a dark intersection and looking in people's cars. Luckily my girl is old enough now that she was able to process that they were just people pulling an uncool prank, but she was still pretty nervous as we watched them. I was so glad we weren't driving on that side of the road. Having one of them walk up to us would have given her nightmares. If it would have happened when she was younger, she'd have been scared for weeks, guaranteed. People are messed up. Build-A-Bear, as a former employee, I don't care if you came in and bought some stuffed animals. Hell, there's some cool ones like Pokemon. However, just 'cause I worked there doesn't mean I have a whole collection myself and watch every show and movie that's partnered with the company. Yes, I was an adult man working at a stuffed animal store. Yes, I bought a couple Pokemon for myself. No, I don't want to hear another grown man passionately talk to me about My Little Pony, and please, I don't want to see a cutie mark tattoo you have on your ass cheek, even if there's no kids in the store currently. McDonald's. Remember when it was all colorful with dumb character mascots and playgrounds? McDonald's itself is responsible for that. They originally targeted young families, which is why they had playgrounds and ball pits and kids' birthday parties. Then they decided that young adults were a better target as they had more money and less cooking skills. So McDonald's now has gourmet coffee and an app. Eventually they may decide that nostalgia is big and start targeting boomers or something. Well, it's that, and they were getting a lot of shit for targeting children with advertising unhealthy food, which caused food sales to drop. Getting autographs from athletes at games. Getting autographs from Disney characters. My 4-year-old kid was knocked to the ground by a bunch of Brazilian adult tourists who climbed over the rope to get an autograph of Sleeping Beauty. To get an autograph of an unknown woman. In a costume. Of an imaginary character. From a fairy story. Toy collecting. Just grown adults creating a giant industry that produces nothing but landfill bait. Without adults, the toy market is pretty small these days. Adults make up 40% of toy sales. I know adults buy most things, but I mean they are buying for themselves 40% of the time. Fun fact, despite being very popular with babies, less than 1% of baby toys are actually purchased by babies. I think video gaming, in a way, has been ruined. The market for adults is larger than children, and that's fine because video games aren't only for kids anymore, but I've noticed how hard it is to find games for kids that are actually good. All the most popular kids games are fueled by microtransactions, season passes, always online, and crazy YouTube personalities screaming obscenities at children. What happened to games like Spyro? A cool little dragon trying to do the right thing and fight evil. No blood, no gore, no AR-15s, or grown men in their 30s hurling insults at you down a mic. When I was 10, I wanted to run like Sonic did. My nephew is 10 and he wants an assault rifle from Fortnite. I dunno, maybe I'm just out of touch. I like the Lego video games. I played all the time with my nieces and nephews when they were young, and we still pick them up every now and then. We look forward to every new release.